The self-service Junkyard, a haven for cheapskates, rare parts hoarders, shade tree mechanics, and car enthusiasts alike. To a 90s kid, it feels just like entering the Safari Zone in Pokemon Red or Blue. You pay your cover charge, you enter a fenced-in area equipped with limited tools, and you have to explore the maze and solve challenges to find your treasure. Any true petrolhead should enter this place with a sense of respect for the fallen. These wheels belong to cars that were all somebody's shiny new pride and joy at one point. Most of them, anyway. Some of them served as a trusted coworker, a reminder of simpler times, or just a faithful old friend whose only crime was outliving its owner. And for mothers, fathers, sons, and daughters, some of these cars were the place where final breaths were taken. So while you shouldn't let irrational sentimentality get in the way of picking the bones for something that can keep your old friend on the road just a little longer, don't smash windows, don't hack up wiring harnesses, don't ruin interiors. Have some respect for these machines, the lives they lived, the lives they changed, and the circumstances that led to their ending up here at their final parking spot. Well, on a later note, here's 9 tips to help you get the most out of your fun day at the Junkyard. Carry your tools in comfort. There's no comfortable way to carry a box or a bucket of heavy tools, and most junkyards won't let you bring in a backpack. The plethora of pockets makes it too easy to smuggle treasure out. But a tool bag with a shoulder strap makes everybody happy. No fancy construction here, just some short bolts, big washers, and big old nuts. I used a seatbelt, buckle, and receiver. The seatbelt is more comfortable than a ratchet strap, and if you want to get it off easily, click. Seatbelts also make great hoist straps, but for liability reasons, you didn't hear that from me. Some stickler may hassle you for bringing what's technically a car part into the yard, but I've never had a problem. It also leaves your hands free for searching an online inventory, researching parts compatibility, or taking a drink of some nice cold dihydrogen monoxide. Building a wrench out of trash. I have to get this radiator support off because this Lamborghini radiator here is worth a fortune. But menage, I'm missing the wrench I need. But wait. Look on the ground for a big bolt like this, commonly found where an engine or transmission has recently been pulled. Look around for 2 nuts too, they shouldn't be far away. Thread nut number 1 onto the bolt, and then you turn and 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 blah. There. Get the second nut on, and
prepare to be astonished!
Instant adjustable wrench. I would never claim this is a convenient tool to use, but we're in survival mode here at the Junkyard, and 1 bolt can mean the difference between leaving triumphantly and wasting an afternoon. This won't work on big axle nuts or wheel bolts, but it should be good enough for hex bolts up to 14 to 15 millimeters. Never get by the missing 10 millimeter again. And when you're done, you've got an heirloom quality tool you can pass down to your children for generations. Smuggle in your own juice. These old LS400s are an engineer's wet dream. Look at the quality. Nakamichi, peasants! This trick is ideal if the key is still with the car, but a simple wiring diagram and some alligator leads will get you over that shortcoming. Only 144,000 miles? Jesus Christ. Real glass headlights. And the original hood struts from 1992 still holding up the hood just fine. Sorry, I'm gushing over this thing a little bit. To test the electrical system in your garage, you could just get a spare car battery and put it right here. Unfortunately, you can't be trusted not to blow something up, so junkyards do not allow car batteries. However, they didn't say anything about 12-volt power tools. All you need is a way to connect your battery to the positive and negative terminals. For most major brands, you can buy these little 3D printed adapters, if this is the kind of thing you're going to be doing often. Or, you can fabricable your own redneck set of adapters from some speaker wire, some spade connectors, and some alligator leads. Black to black, and red to red. Note your polarity, or the ECU is dead. So fancy. We've got a wiper. I'm pretty sure these LED gauge needles are worth some money in working condition. Depending on the thickness of your battery cables and the size of the battery itself, you may struggle with big things like window motors or seat motors. But at least you can listen to your tunes. Wheel locks but no key? No problem. Here's a beautiful Lexus LFA. What a find. We're going to pop off the rim and grab these 4-piston Brembos for my wife's ES330. Flummoxed again. Obviously, you should check in the glove box or the center console for the wheel lock key. And look in the trunk too, under all this junk. Any keys in here? Nope, I don't see it. Crap. Maybe under here. Nope, bupkis. The tool for the job here is a 3/4 inch 12-point socket. This socket will be slightly too small to fit over most wheel locks on the market, which is just right, because with a little lovin' from Mjolnir here. Now all you need is your 3/8 square drive wheel lock key, aka ratchet. Of course, you don't want to use your mom's good sockets for this, but you can punch it out easy peasy. It might be a bit challenging to do in the field, so if you've got multiple wheel locks to remove, you might want to bring extra sockets. Then, when you're back at HQ with a proper vise, you can pound away. Not a scratch. Create your own temporary storage locker. This junkyard is 20 acres, and all I need is a coil pack from the Bentley section all the way at the end. You tell me I gotta carry all this? I certainly don't need this to get a coil pack off. I don't need this, and I definitely don't need this. I've also got that Lamborghini radiator, and if I leave that here, that, and possibly my tools, are all going to get snatched up immediately by vultures. Just find yourself an intact car with the key still in it and throw your stuff inside. Blip, 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 blip. Anything you want out of sight, you can go ahead and throw in the trunk, and... wait a minute. Oh, god damn it. This yard likes to bend the receiver so you can't close anything. Whoops. Make sure the car you pick has an external keyhole. Otherwise, getting your tools back out is going to be troublesome. Don't be a dick. The next poor schmuck's going to have to break the window to get in if you don't leave the key with it. So before you leave, unlock the door and toss the key somewhere easy to find. Hoard-free hardware. What you want to look for is a car from the same manufacturer as your own. One that's had the engine removed preferably. That ensures a healthy carpeting of loose hardware on the ground. Then whip out your telescoping fishing rod and go fishing. I've checked with a couple yards about their nut and bolt policy, and usually they're just confused why I'm even asking. Suffice it to say, these are all free, but it's not stealing. You're just helping them clean up. Ooh, that's a big one. Now I know what you might be thinking. Why would someone so wealthy and bourgeoisie waste time picking up used bolts out of the mud? Well, I'll tell you, Dad. When you're wrenching on your car during that beautiful window between your kids going to sleep and getting to bed for work yourself, and a bolt strips or a nut goes missing, no amount of buying power will help you, because the hardware stores are all closed. And it's not as if every Lowe's has your obscure metric grade 10.9 bolt in stock at any price anyway. If you see a disassembled interior, that's a goldmine too, because this hardware was out of the elements, so it'll be nice and fresh. OEM clips are great to have too. Yeah, the dealer sells them, and you can buy cheap knockoffs on Amazon, but why not have a few originals lying around? If you want to take it to the next level, like a true psychopath, you can build yourself a storage system like this and have a mini hardware store in your shop. Can't tell you how often I have to dip into this. How to thoroughly test a junkyard speaker. You can find some real high quality speakers wasting away at the junkyard. If you can get past your own snobbery, you can score some great upgrades for peanuts. I call this setup the bodybuilder. Little screws, Keeping them. First things first, give the cone a thorough visual inspection. Check for rips, tears, or general decomposition. Next, verify the impedances in spec with a multimeter. Every speaker will have an impedance rating on it, 2 ohms in this case. The meter measures resistance, which isn't exactly the same as impedance, so give this a 10% fudge factor. It's close enough. Put your leads on the 2 main pins, and yeah, this one's good. For the final test, you'll need a 1.5 volt battery. AA, AAA, double D, whatever your taste is. You can use scrap wire for this. I'm just going to use my meter leads because they're going to fit over these terminals anyway. Touch the other ends to the battery. Doesn't matter which polarity you use. And when you touch it, you should hear a little pop. Yeah, this one's good. You're coming home with me. The exhaust pipe cheater bar. Bouncy, 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 bounce. Too skinny for this Now what you should have done is buy this ratchet from Harbor Freight. $20, lifetime warranty, and it's cheap enough that you won't cry if you scratch it, abuse it, or accidentally leave it behind. It's long enough to break any wheel nut loose, while simultaneously, it's short enough to fit in any tool bag. But you didn't buy one, so here's an exhaust pipe. They're super common because yards usually cut the catalytic converter out. Brakes on, slip the pipe over the wrench, put your foot on there, and yoink! Super easy. The redneck wheel remover. These old Ferrari Enzo wheels tend to get rusted on the hub. Let's see how this goes. Every damn time. There are lots of tricks for this, but this one's my favorite. A nice plump heavy tire. It's got a non-marring rubber surface, so you won't harm your beautiful Italian alloy wheel. Yeah. Since it's filled with a high-pressure fluid, it's basically a dead blow hammer. Ow. Before you start wailing on it, put a nut on loosely just to keep it from flying off. Now I've tried the brake fluid trick, I've tried hitting it from the inside with a mallet, I've even tried lowering the car onto the ground with no nuts on the wheel at all, and this trumps them all. It works so well, I even keep a spare wheel in the shop, just for this purpose. Of course, there are other tips to know for noobs, like bring sturdy shoes, work gloves, and hand sanitizer, because there's a lot of festering human slime here. And I'm not talking about the employees, most of whom are actually eager to help, especially if you give them a tip. Pack lots of cold water, wear sunscreen, and above all, remember to respect the cars and your fellow scavengers. Thanks for watching.